more than that. Like it's kind of crazy. And a vast majority of those customers are telling me that they didn't even know they could tint their house. They only thought of tint for cars, and they started seeing our videos on Instagram or Facebook. Yep. And that's even why they contacted us. So it's like, I know that the real opportunity in this industry right now isn't fighting each other over ad spend on Google or Meta.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Born to Tint podcast with the Miller Brothers. I'm excited for another episode with my big brother, Josh.
How's it going, everybody? Today we have a really exciting episode for you. We have Dave Kratz and Brodie with Autobahn. Excited to announce we officially have a window film for the industry that has a guarantee against burning turf. Check out this episode to find out more about that.
But no, like when it comes to flat glass installing wise, like there's definitely stages and there's definitely a way of learning a technique that if you keep having that problem over and over again, if you pre-cut a window and then you don't wet the glass, you're just wetting the tint and you're putting it directly on, you're at a point of really hard to screw that window up, especially a French paint or anything like that. But now there are plenty of techniques to be able to do that window without doing any of that. I mean, one thing that drove me as an installer, we had an older gentleman that worked for us that told me that you have to pre-cut all French paints. And I was young, cocky, and I was probably being an asshole at the time. And I was like, no, you don't. And then I just made sure that I could do it because I just wanted to prove him wrong. And I figured it out. Angle my blade the correct way. Don't push all the water into the side of the window to begin with. Just make sure you're tacking up the center. Yep. Water control when it comes down to it and make sure water's not flowing back into your window. And then obviously you have like a one cut pass. If you screw up that cut on the way down, the film lifts, you're kind of screwed. So you just got to sit there and work it over and over again until you get to the point of understanding that technique when it comes down to it. I mean, that same guy told me you had to cut your edges with the 5-way tool, which I was like, what the hell you do?
I was taught the same exact way with the 5-way.
Well, it's not to say that it doesn't have it definitely works. It's not to say it doesn't have its place, but there is definitely a way, like when someone's like anything, I think anytime someone's told me that you have to do it this way, I've instantly been like, oh yeah, hold my beer. Yeah. Watch this. I'm going to do it to make sure I agitate you while I'm doing it because you're skipping this, but it looks exactly the same as yours. It's just I finished 5 minutes before you, and I'm on my next window. Don't know what to tell you. Like there's always levels to it, and then when you finally get out of your way and realize that there is levels to it, going to the tint offs, meeting this guy for the first time in 2012, along with Chris Brooks and everyone else within that category. I mean, I came in, I was 25 years old. I was cocky as all can be.
I was too.
Well, but at the same time, like seeing you guys, and I could have either taken that experience and let my ego take control of that experience, and it could have destroyed me, or I let it humble me. And thankfully, I took it to where, I mean, it didn't take it right off the bat that way.
Definitely not.
Shut up. But thankfully, I was able to take that experience in a humbling manner and realizing, like, okay, hold on, these are the guys I want to be. These are the guys I want to be. I want to talk to. And yes, everyone had a cockiness about them, but also a healthy cockiness, a healthy ego about them, because you have to have that. I mean, now even when it comes to like the competitions now, like I'm sorry to say, when I do go into flat glass competition now, if I make the finals, I'm fairly confident you all just lost. I'm 3 for 3. I'm just saying.
Oh gosh.
Every time I've made the finals, I've won. So I walk into it now with that confidence. Like, and I think I have that confidence, and I think I do know I have that confidence with auto, but I don't talk about it because I haven't done shit in auto. I haven't won anything in auto. And I considered myself an auto installer before a flat glass installer when I started competing. Like, that was the first thing I did was auto. And then I just did flat glass because the Solar Guard paid for me. They were paying for me to be there. And I was just like, I could win $5,000. Why not? And then like I installed like 200 square feet that year. Like that was I was strictly an auto installer. And then I went in and I won flat. And it kind of pissed off our flat glass installer that didn't get to go because he was our main installer. And he was like, you won because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, he was there, and he still lost again to me. So
I think that was the year prior to that, too. Danny was an auto installer at the time, too, and he came in and won with just
oh, no.
What was that?
Wasn't Danny. From Georgia. Oh.
Who was that?
He was Lumar. Well, I can't think of his name. We've talked about him before.
Lumar.
It was a side swipe. He literally did the entire window with just a side swipe.
Yep.
And ended up winning.
Yep, that was 2016.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh,
Kim?
Johan Kim?
It was
Johan.
Johan.
It was Johan. Oh, yeah, I remember it.
Really? I remember it. It was Johan Kim. I remember that.
Dude,
It was
Sideswipe.
incredible. We were just watching him, and we were looking at how clean this window was. I'm like, this guy's never done a flat glass window in his life.
I do think auto installers make the best flat glass installers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've sent some of my auto guys on some flat glass jobs, and they do a really good job. But take a lot longer to do that job too. They kind of take a lot longer on their steps. Like you'll see them with the little 2-inch blade, and instead of prepping it instead of using a Triumph or using a sponge. And they just, I think they easily get the concept of how the film goes on, and I think that's where it goes. In my opinion, I think that the best flat glass installers that I've found naturally are actually the vinyl commercial guys.
Okay.
They are very, very fast and can move their squeegees really, really quick. And I've had good success with those ones in the flat side.
Yeah, that's kind of our thesis on doing the Architectural Academy is that our main focus at first is try to get the people that are already comfortable with auto tint. Because if you already understand how to get a piece of film onto a curved piece of glass cleanly, and you understand the fundamentals of what's going to get the film dirty, how to wet it, all of those things, like learning how to put it on architectural windows is going to be a really short learning curve, in my opinion. The bigger lessons that they're going to need to learn is what can go on what window, especially because in a lot of smaller operations, sometimes the salesperson is the installer or whatever. Sure. Maybe it's the salesperson that needs to know, but the installer needs to know also, like what can go where, why, what problem are we trying to solve, and which product should we select? Because it's really simple with auto. It's typically most shops have like 3 options, right? Like A, B, or C, and the difference is heat rejection typically.
I think so many too struggle with identifying partial shading on structures too.
Yep.
They'll look at that specific time of year. Oh, it's good. Not thinking about how it's going to be in the winter months or vice versa.
Yep. Yeah,
I think that's a huge challenge with a lot of architectural.
And even 5 years from now, like let's say that it's a new construction, they've got a shrubbery outside that window, and 5 years from now, that shrubbery is a bush that's covering half the glass.
My favorite one, man, was when I got a picture of a thermal break, and it was outlined the dumpster that they put in front of the window. It was just so obvious what caused it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there certain regions in the country that you're seeing that in? Because to be honest, that's saying we don't pay attention to it, because I know those are the questions that we get asked if we're depending on what type of films we're putting on, especially if we know it's a film that is rated in you're starting to get a touchy zone of, all right, what's the exact, where's the coatings in the window? And then, the next question is, what's the shading? Do they have blinds? Is there certain areas of the country where you're seeing more breakages because of that?
I think so, yeah. I think build quality is a big factor too.
Yeah.
Certain markets have lower standards when it comes to construction. So a lot of the Midwest, you'll see a lot of thermal breaks occur. And a lot of times it's the same style of window, kind of contractor grade glass, where there's some kind of partial shading that wasn't accounted for. And typically, when you get the pictures of the damage, it tells you the story right there. You can see what happened and what caused it, but typically it is more of a regional issue.
You're saying it's mostly partial shading, though?
Partial shading is a big culprit. Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of times, like when you get the pictures, you'll see it if they have 2 or 3 windows that have failed. You can see there's an overhang or something on the structure that's causing that. And sometimes they'll even send the pictures at that specific time of day where you can actually see the shadow being cast across the window from a column or something. It's like,
Wonder what happened here.
I can tell you what happened. It kind of tells the story for you.
You see that shade line right there? See how that crack is following it
Like
perfectly?
let's move right to here. See how it just
That's wild. So
Rocky Mountain region, I think, can be added to that as well. Just due to elevation with the drastic weather changes. So let's say we're in the middle of fall and we've got a lot of radiant heat coming off and emitted from our sun, and then the temperature outside that day is actually really cold. A cloud just goes in front of the sun, and that glass can cool drastically quick, and that can cause some thermal breakage too.
now, is that typically on film that's like possibly applied to the wrong type of window because people aren't testing it, or is it sometimes just even a window that's approved?
Even windows that are approved,
Yeah.
you'll see it.
Wow.
We got lucky. I'm saying we haven't got lucky. I'm saying
We're in the right area.
As I say, I think our region, I don't think we need to worry about that too much.
It's typically when the sun's out, it's typically hot.
Yep. Yeah. That's
Colder
true.
climates are more like Brodie mentioned, susceptible to it as well. So you guys get somewhat cold here in the winter months.
Yeah, but not a big temperature shift though. I would say during any time of the year. It's usually when it's hot. It's it's hot. We do not get an instant cool. And even when it's say winter, even if the sun's on it, you can feel the heat from the sun, but it's not anything crazy. It's not a crazy temperature shift. Absolutely. I would say. So
You mix that with pressure changes too, and you can just have all the wrong formulas.
Yeah,
Even
that makes it.
choose the right films. It just can be catastrophic.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's when testing the glass really matters,
Correct.
because we were talking about that earlier. That's been a game changer for us, is really putting that meter on every piece of glass,
Yeah.
and being surprised sometimes at what comes back. And we've come across a lot of Surface 3 coatings recently that, in the past when we weren't checking, we would have been putting the wrong film on that window,
Yeah.
and we would have been taking on liability of breaking some windows and possibly making the problem worse for the customer. So it's like, that's something we're trying to definitely help educate the industry on. Like, if you think that what is it, $1,500, or how much is the Glass Check Elite?
I think it's $15.99 or
Something like that.
$14.99,
Yeah, like
that.
if you think that that's too much,
Yeah, just take popping the one
Yeah.
$1,500 window.
yeah, one window pays for it. And then
Well,
on
that-
top of that, the confidence you and knowledge that you display to the customer when you come in and maybe they got 3 proposals and you're the only person that even checked the glass, and you found that they did have a Surface 3 coating, and then you recommended doing an exterior film and the other 2 companies don't even mention it, who's that person going to go with?
Well, in every industry, you have to have the proper equipment and tools
Yeah.
to do your profession. And I feel like in our industry, we kind of forget that sometimes. And I think some of these measuring devices and meters are part of that. It's a key aspect of our profession,
Yeah.
And it opens the catalog of what you can sell.
Yep.
I mean, like beforehand, like when my dad was doing sales, we didn't have the meter, but he also restricted himself to selling like 2 different types of films. That majority of those films were green across the board for any glass at any time in our region. So it just he just restricted himself to selling only those films, which was successful. I mean, he found success in it, but at the same time, now we can throw the meter on, and then we do, hold on, this coating's on this level. Like, do you want the best performance? We got to go exterior. And then explain to the customer why we got to go exterior, and they're like, that makes complete sense. And then now what was a standard install, is now exterior, and now they're not really forced, but if they're going to make the best decision for their return on investment, it's going to be like, now the job just turned from, say, like a $9,000 job, now it's a $20,000 job because of what film they got to put on. So it allows you to sell those films with that much more confidence in the fact of letting them know, like, not just feeding them like, oh yeah, it should be good. Like, it's going to get the job done. It's like, no, well, the job it'll help on the inside, but if you're looking for your biggest return, your most heat rejection, especially with all the new glass, like a lot of the new glass, you throw the meter on, you're like triple soft, low E, Surface 2. Okay, so all these expensive ceramic films, pointless. Like, they're just going to look really cool on your window. It's going to do something, but not really much of anything for you. Mm-hmm. So if I sell this to you, I'm just selling you snake oil right now. It's not going to do much, which hurts the industry across the board. Someone spends, say, thousands of dollars on their house, and like, I really don't feel a difference. It kind of feels the same. Like, everybody wants the same thing. I want clear. It's like, well, if I put my clear film on there, you're just paying me a lot of money to put film on your windows. I mean, I'll appreciate it. I'll take the money, but it's not going to do anything for you.
Well, you said a great point. I think so much has changed with technology with glass from what we saw in the early 2000s compared to now, and also with film. I mean, if you think about it, ceramic film is a fairly new player as far as in our industry, and I think that affects it too as far as what's compatible, not compatible. I remember back in the day when I started, it was bronze was my biggest concern, as far as for thermal breakage. And just think now of all the products out there that are high absorbing, that you really have to factor in what kind of glass you're installing on is very important.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, no, I'm just going to use that right there to pivot until we talk about new technology in glass, and then also in film itself.
Yep.
One of the main reasons why we wanted to have you guys out here is a problem that we've been having, at least in our region. I know it's been more than just the southwest region of the country. I know on the East Coast, it's more of paneling issues, is melting. Glass is getting so damn efficient now that it is either melting your turf or it's melting the side paneling on houses. I have been talking to manufacturers for the past 2 years at least. SolarGuard, 3M, all the big guys I already kind of knew. And then lately, within the past year, at SEMA, I started going around to all the manufacturers. And I'm just like, I don't care who I buy from. Like I want to obviously go with a company that I know I can trust. I know who I'm working with. And then I ran into, George came by the shop and I told him like, hey, I'm looking for an exterior film. I need to mitigate grass burn and turf burn when it comes down to it. And everyone kind of gave me the same answer is it should do the job. Like everyone kind of had a line of film, but we can't guarantee anything. I'm like, I can't sell that to my customer. I mean, I probably could. I could probably get them to buy into it, but someone who just spent $10,000, $20,000 on their turf and here, I'm going to tint your windows, but it should work, but I'm not sure. And then I was able to connect with you guys. And then you guys, in my eyes, were the first manufacturer to actually step up and actually start digging into it and actually now offer a turf burn warranty, and I very much appreciate you guys, putting in the work. And, it's been a couple months process, but now we actually can offer a film to where it actually has $1,000 turf burn warranty. And we've been installing it now for 6 months, man.
Yeah, probably
6 months or more. We've yet to have
Just about 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's just about 6 months. Yeah, November.
Yeah, so longer than that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it was right around about 6 months. So, and we've been putting it on tons of projects, and it's been a game changer. Yeah. Especially being able to step in and say like, hey, the manufacturer is putting this warranty on there, so you get this. Having that guarantee makes the customer at ease, and we've yet to have any calls of, hey, my turf's burnt. And we've went through it now 6 months. If we went through our cold season, now we're starting to get into the hot season, 110, and still nothing.
Yeah, we're excited about the program. I think from our side, we wanted to approach it in a responsible way.
Yep.
Obviously, you guys have been great with sending pictures ahead of time for us to be able to use that and kind of building our data on what compatible projects are out there.
Yep.
And that's something that's going to be a key component when we launch this nationally to make sure we're approaching it in a responsible way to where, once again, it's not snake oil where we're installing film on projects where it's not really going to do the trick.
Yeah.
And we're also expanding our product lines to, further enhance the mitigation of turf burn or siding.
Yeah.
So we've talked to a couple companies as well that are looking more for the siding side of it. So play on words right there, right? Siding side of it. That's good.
No punning.
No punning, yeah. But it's showing a lot of progress too and a lot of potential. So we're excited about it. We are going to offer a warranty on siding as well. So similar to what we're doing with the turf.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, it won't always cover all the potential costs associated with replacement, but at least there's that assurance that they are going to have some kind of coverage and some kind of guarantee that the product actually does work.
Well, I think that was the hardest part. I think that was kind of most manufacturers kind of pushback on, in the fact that it's hard to, you can test a film, but are you going to be able to test the film at every angle with sun angles, with different climates? Like, there still is a lot of unknown factors that you can try to calculate them as much as you want, but there still is going to be some risk. Like, there's not much you can do about it. The way the house is built, where it's set, how high off the ground the windows are, how far away is your turf, like, I look at it obviously being almost an impossible thing to be like, we can 100% guarantee. The only way to do that, unfortunately, is you got to put either solar screens or perforated screen, which for the most part, the reason why we install film is because it looks 1,000 times better than those two things. Like,
Absolutely.
And the fact
And
that
the
it's-
energy efficiency.
That's the big selling point with most of the customers I'm coming across is like, look, this isn't going to change the look, and you're getting a little bit of a color change, but for the most part, you're still going to look right out your window, and I'm going to give you 47% heat rejection because this is a ceramic product on the outside pane of glass,
Exactly.
which for a near clear piece of film is outstanding. That's a huge selling point, especially out here because people are already looking to hold as much heat out of their windows as they possibly can. So now we're solving kind of two problems in one, and that's delivering so much more value than a piece of perforated vinyl that's probably going to go bad in a year or two with no warranty. It's got a 1-year warranty on the material. I can give you a 5-year warranty, a 5-year guarantee, and we're holding some heat out. And you get to keep your nice natural light. Like, it's kind of a no-brainer when you present them the two options. They're just
You
like,
actually
yeah, I
can
want
enjoy
that
the-
one.
The turf that's outside your window.
Yeah, and now you don't have to
Exactly.
replace your turf. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
actually see the landscaping you just put in. You're not looking
Yeah.
through a screen.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's one of the big points that customers like. I just spent all this money on my landscaping. I don't want to look through a screen. Like it's you can see through it, but still, it's. I mean,
It's
Yeah.
easy. It's fuck. It's the clarity level is just not.
yeah, you can't compare the two. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like for and then even when it comes to heat rejection too, you can't compare the two because with the clarity from film to solar screens, if you want an extremely high heat rejection solar screen, you're putting a pretty much entire piece of cloth over your window where it's like, yeah, you can see out, but not really. You know? So yeah, it's complete game changer when it comes down to it.
What's been really nice on our side are the pictures of the projects because we have had a couple where we've denied coverage, saying it wasn't a compatible project, just because you could tell the glass itself had issues.
Yep.
So having that, those images and that data built is going to help with case studies as well to kind of educate a customer base too on where it is appropriate and where it's not to install the film. So it's been really good. It's been a good experience as far as researching it and finding good solutions to the issue.
And I think this is just something it's been a hot button in our industry for a long time, and having the ability as a manufacturer to be able to help stand, right beside select dealers that are going to be able to offer these warranties is just going to create a lot more awareness on the consumer end of what other options that these people have. And then the growth within those dealers is going to be substantial.
Oh, I'm looking for because I know as we've been developing this, we've talked about it here and there, but we haven't really put any names to anything. We haven't put out as much content as we probably could have, only for the sole reason it's like we're still going through the process, and now that the process is through and it's like set and ready to go, the amount of content we're about to start putting out is going to be obscene. Because I mean that's when we're going against, if we are having to bid against a competitor or anything like that. The one thing I do know is that's one thing we hammer home on is that most likely they're presenting perf screen, so it's like film to perf screen, like no brainer. And then let alone if they're putting a film up there, all right, what manufacturer is it? What's the guarantee?
Yeah.
And then right there, I know they're falling short because I know there's nothing else out there. Like no one else has stepped up and actually decided like, hey, there might be some growing pains, but we're gonna work together and figure it out and start putting the projects together to figure out what can't be done. And until we start somewhere, it's just, obviously it will never be done. It'll just be more of the same of, here, this product should work, but it wasn't designed for that. And it's like, can you start designing something, or at least can we start taking this step in the right direction? And you guys had enough and big enough balls in my eyes to actually start going like, no, let's address this issue because the issue's not going nowhere. I mean, especially in Vegas, like you can't put grass, and if you buy a house now, at least when I bought my house in 2018, no grass in the front yard, you could do 75% of your backyard. I found out this past year, no grass, period. If you're a new build, you cannot put grass in your front yard or your backyard, so you have to put turf.
Yeah.
You have to.
So everything's going zero-scape then.
Yeah. And they're installing turf like crazy. Just a handful of turf companies that are sending us work or telling us the numbers of installs they're doing a week, and it's just the stuff's going up everywhere now.
Well, especially
I'm
with
hearing-
code. I mean, that's going to spark an entire segment as far as business goes.
We're seeing the same thing in Arizona too.
Yep.
Just skyrocketing on the turf and the zero-scape.
Yeah. And then
California is following as well.
So my understanding, and this is how I've been explaining it to customers, is exactly kind of what Ricky said. We're coming across all these new low-E coatings in most new builds. The energy that's reflecting, that's what's kind of being concentrated back down. That's what's causing the majority of the problems. What exactly is it that the film's doing to prevent that? Because I know that it's reducing the reflectivity. It's a ceramic coating, so it's absorbing and reflecting some of the heat energy in a different way. Is it actually blocking that beam from coming back off of that low-E coating also? Like, as it comes through and diffusing it? Like,
Yeah,
what
it
is
is reducing it a
what's
little bit.
technically kind of what's happening there?
The biggest impact is it's reducing the VLR. on the outside
Okay.
of the glazing system, just enough to reduce that intensity to where it's causing the turf to burn.
Yeah.
Obviously, if a glass system is incredibly concave, where it's like a magnifying glass.
Yeah, it's got like seal failure.
Yeah, it's nothing about that.
Those are projects where we won't be able to help with the film, and those are the ones that we've come across in certain scenarios where we've had to say, hey, this isn't a compatible project. But typically, it's reducing that VLR just enough to reduce that intensity of light and heat onto the turf to where it doesn't burn.
Okay. That's been my understanding. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because that's the customer's number. Well, it doesn't look any different. How's it going to work? Because it's so close to what the window looked like. But that's been my understanding. We're dropping the reflectivity just enough where it's not causing that little laser beam.
And we are in the process of producing a new product that'll be in the 50% VLT range.
Oh, nice.
And that should really help as well. VLR on it's fantastic, so it'll be a really good product to also fit into the turf protection and siding protection.
Right.
We feel that the 50% will probably be more appropriate for vinyl protection, vinyl siding protection, just because it seems to be a little bit more sensitive than the turf to that intensity and stuff.
So that'll kind of even be an upgrade on turf. If you're really concerned, going from 70 to 50 should
Correct.
reduce that reflectivity
And we
a
feel
little
that
bit more.
50% is going to be a subtle enough of a product still that it'll be attractive for a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
homes. No concerns
agree.
there.
I'd agree with that.
So we're very excited about that product line.
And it'll have a higher T-SIR also, right?
Correct. A little bit higher T-SIR and
Total solar energy rejected for the non-tin people out there.
Yeah.
that's right.
Less reflectivity as well.
VLR is still in kind of the same realm as far as that goes, but we do feel that it's kind of what he was mentioning, the reducing the intensity of the beam coming from the low-A coating back outward is where the darker
Taking more
VLT will
visible
help.
light.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I was told by someone on the East Coast is one of the problems, especially with the paneling, is that they're making it to where you have to have the home so energy efficient that you are upgrading your glass. But then while they're doing that, they're not regulating, what's the regulations on the side paneling? How much heat can the side paneling take? And then when you're building those homes right next to each other, like that paneling's got not a shot in hell because that window is reflecting so much heat out, with the reflection and also with that coating, that is, you don't have a chance. It's going to melt when it comes down to it.
And I had a couple cases where we recently saw the new construction in Arizona where they were burning the neighbors' sightings. So each house was just burning each other's houses.
That's what Cody Becker was telling us. They were having
And
issues with that in a neighborhood
It's
on
getting
the East
bad.
Coast.
And these are concrete sightings, and they're burning.
Wow.
So like the paints are melting. It's
I had a wild one the other day. Customer that we
nuts.
did perforated screen for a year or so ago on the back half of his house for the turf. Had us back out because the windows on the front of his house were melting the bumper of his car.
Yep, yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that with just the mirrors on cars, like
Yeah.
melting other cars next
Yeah.
to it and stuff too.
Yeah, it was a wild one.
Seen
I
it
was
melt
like,
in
he's like,
PPF
look, this is my
before.
bumper. I parked my car right here. It's
Yeah.
coming from those windows. It's like
That's crazy.
We did have one
That's
where we saw it
interesting.
was the pool furniture. It was all plastic.
Yep.
And it was like this line across all the furniture where it melted. It was impressive.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, what was it? Which building was it out here? At City Center? Vidar, I think it was.
Oh yeah, where they had to put exterior film on the whole outside of that
Because
building. It was
the
hitting.
reflect, it was hitting.
Vidara.
Yeah. It was Vidar, right? It was
Right.
hitting. Yeah, it was hitting. The
Somebody
pool.
got like a
It was hitting
3rd-degree
pool-
burn on the railing at the pool area.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I forget which film they put. I think they ended up putting an automotive film on the outside, like a smoke film, just to deal with it. And I'm pretty sure they have to replace it relatively constantly, just because it's not an exterior rated film, and they got to do something about it. Because if they don't do something about it, they're getting sued. when
Yeah, I
it comes
remember
down
that
to-
project came up originally, and I believe the first product didn't work.
Yep,
And
they had to do it
go
twice.
back and redo it. And I have heard the stories about the warranties and stuff. Replacements maybe, but happening with that project.
Yeah, that would scare the hell out of me going into a project. It's like, it should work. let's test it out. It's like,
It's just a couple 100,000 square feet.
Let's try it.
yeah, yeah. No, that's been always
Give it a
my.
go.
That's always been the biggest thing that's has scared me is like I said, we've had there's products out there that technically mimic, or like I said, I'll be told it should work, but it wasn't designed for that. I'm like, okay, I get why you're saying that. You legally have to say that because you're releasing yourself of liability. But at the same time, if you have enough people asking you this question over and over again, can we start moving towards solving this problem perhaps? Because it's not going nowhere. And glass is going to do nothing but get better and better. And when it comes down to it, everything I hear is that the market is eventually going to correct to the point of everything's going to be exterior. Which, I mean, I heard that years ago in the fact of because Europe has glass that their technology, usually they're always ahead of us.
I think we were just talking about this.
We were. We talked about, is that the coatings are starting to get to the point now where we won't be able to do anything on the inside, let alone I haven't ran across it, thankfully, coatings on Surface 4, which is the interior.
I ran into that one. I was telling someone about that one with the
Your market
reflective
probably
film.
has some-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do in your market for certainty.
Yeah, and we ran into it, and it didn't even show up on the meter.
Really?
Yeah, and so I had no idea it was coating until I actually took
Ran
a
a scraper
blade.
across it?
Yeah, I ran a scraper on it, and it was black. I've never seen it before, but it left black lines. It looked like carbon paper, like receipt paper if you drag your nail on it.
Oh, that's scary.
And,
And-
your heart just sinks when that happens because it's a replacement right then and there.
Oh, instantly. And I'm like, okay, so we
Project
didn't find out.
changes.
We hung film, and we ran a CDF on this particular job. And we went through the entire project, and it was a very high amount of square footage. But by noon, when the team went to go to lunch, they came back. All the film was curled, laying on the floor. And we had to eat the entire project. They backed out of it. They didn't want to switch to an exterior. They were upset about it, and and we had no idea because we didn't scrape them anyways because we were afraid of defective tempered, and
So you just scrubbed everything.
we just scrubbed them and went and didn't find out they had a forced surface until we scratched it. So,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the other scary one to always come across is that dirty side of the tempered glass. Like,
Yes.
yeah. So that's always like one of the first things we train our guys for. Like,
Hear that
because
noise,
we
you
still
stop.
blade almost everything, but it's like if you go to a tempered window, you're gonna test the top a little bit. As soon if you hear any type of grit, you're going to a scrubber
Yeah, stop immediately.
immediately
Yeah.
because you're not gonna damage it if you just test on one little spot.
How
but if
common
you start,
is it in your guys' market to see that?
it's weird because sometimes I feel like they're just installing some of the windows backwards, and it's like one window out of 6 will have a dirty side.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it happens
not that often.
not that often. When I was still installing daily, I would probably come across windows like that once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Not that often.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you talk about your low E coating when they do a window backwards. It's now was supposed to be a second surface is now a third.
Yep. That's where.
You
Yeah.
just you get that one random window on an entire
Yeah.
project,
Yeah.
and that window pops.
Yep.
And that's the biggest reason why. I mean, obviously, you check as many windows as you can,
Yeah.
but as soon as you run across that, now you just changed your whole project.
Yep.
Unless you're telling the customer, like, get a glass guy out here to flip your glass around.
Right.
And then also, we should go around to every single window in your house to make sure it's not like that. Or we can just go exterior and not worry about nothing. And a lot of what we're getting a lot of now is just exterior. Because we'll tell them, like, even warranty wise, I think I kind of got this brought to life. We just had a meeting with our business mentor, and we were talking through kind of pricing and offer and stuff like that. And we just recently switched some of our auto lines to where our entry level auto film right now is a 5-year warranty.
Yeah.
Never had that before in the past. We've always kind of stood tall in the fact that we've always offered lifetime warranty products, and that's it. And the approval rate shocked the living hell out of me. Like I wasn't, and he's like, dude, and he's like, he opened the door to the rest of his office and asked people, hey, how many people got car tinted? Kind of, what'd you pay? Did you care about the warranty? Did you know there was a warranty? And everyone kind of answered the same.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, honestly, I could care less. It's just, I went with a company that I knew I could trust, and they would take care of me. One guy was like, I had some stuff in my windows. I went back. They took care of it. I was happy as could be. And it was like, he's like, you're putting too much in the warranty when it comes down to it. I think that's another thing that stopped us from even kind of pushing exterior films, because it's always like, well, interior is going to be lifetime warranty.
On
Like,
residential.
On residential.
Yeah.
On residential, depending on what product you're offering, obviously. But like the weight I've put on that guarantee from the manufacturer, like even when we're telling some of the people in the homes, like, all right, it's going to be a 10-year warranty. And the funny part, maybe not so funny, dark humor, an older couple, you tell them that, and they're like, I'm not going to be here. I don't care. And I'm just like, All right, I don't know how to respond to that one, but
Yeah, that was
okay.
actually a home recently that I tested the glass, and it had a Surface 3 hard coat on the whole backside of his house. So it had to end up being an exterior install, which they were super happy with, and now they're actually going to have us back to do the rest of the house. We've done a lot more exterior recently, especially with commercial. Commercial, I feel like it's an easy upsell.
Yeah.
And as far as a lot of times on commercial projects, they got little half walls that need to be hidden anyways. You don't have to go in and go room from room and take down blinds. If they're already moved in and it's past the construction phase, you're not going to disrupt their business.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you're going from I think our very best commercial warranty on anything we got is 12 years. And you're either bumping down to 10, 7, or 5. And most of the time for a commercial, they're just like, all right,
But
no problem.
Even commercial, man, like when doing an exterior on commercial, I feel like the film is always in better shape a few years down the road.
Yeah.
It's like you go into restaurants, man, and these kids are digging the knives
Yep.
and forks into the film.
Yep.
And as soon as they see that little edge peeling, they just,
Oh,
Yep.
It's over.
and it's
Yeah,
like
especially
you're
when it's
constantly
pulled
replacing it.
gaskets.
Yeah.
If it's
you're
pulled
constantly
gaskets and we're
pulling
doing
interior.
exterior, we'll pull
Yeah.
the gaskets, install it, and now you're not going to have that
Right.
curling, right?
And no one knows it's there. They're not picking at it.
Yeah.
The only damage they get is just the washers that are cleaning it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So-
I really getting more in that mindset. Testing glass is what really opened me up to
Yeah.
we have to go exterior. But then seeing how much easier the project flowed because of it, my guys can show up at 5 in the morning if it's commercial, and doesn't matter. Nobody needs to let us in,
Yeah.
and not in anybody's way. So the project flow is more seamless. Everything about the experience for the customer ends up being better. And looking at those products now more thoroughly and offering them more often, they're always going to have a higher teaser. They're always going to hold out more heat. You take that same film on an interior version of that same film, and the exterior version is always going to crush it. So it's and if their main concern is how much heat can you hold out of my windows, this is the film that's going to hold out the most heat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think another thing that's missing in the industry now that you've mentioned several times is, you've determined it's the Surface 3 low E on the glass. I think as manufacturers, we need to continue to improve our film to glass charts to stay up with the times of what the modern glass system is and educate our customer base on what's compatible and not compatible for those scenarios. And that is something we did recently where we added triple pane Surface Low E 3 to our spec sheets. But I'm hoping to see that more and more from other suppliers as well, because I think it's very important, especially if you're new to the industry, having as many things that'll help you kind of guide you on what to offer, not offer to clients.
For sure.
Really important.
There's definitely, I could tell you right now from feedback of a video we just posted recently of me using a meter and explaining what the reading came back as. And it was short, so I didn't get into too much detail. But we got DMs from several different installers around the country that are trying to do more flat glass, asking, how do I know what's what?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest value any manufacturer could make, in my mind, is not just the sheets and that type of stuff, but run through different scenarios and put it on video and have somebody sit there explain it. Because having a 5-minute in-depth video on when it comes back with a Surface 2 triple silver soft coat, what are your best options to provide for your customer as far as what are they looking for, and go over the different scenarios of what film choices are now open. Because if there were easy resources like that for all installers to just have at their fingertips and not have to call somebody and delay, it would be huge. And you could spend as much time as you want after it's been created, and people can just go to that. I think video content is massive. We still massively underutilize it, but I think everybody vastly underutilizes it. Because how much time can you free up on yourself of I'm sure you don't mind taking phone calls and educating people if they call you.
Yeah.
It's what you do. But if you had the resources out there and easily accessible to just pull up the video that's exactly on the system that they're coming across, now you've done it once and it's there.
Oh, just text your rep at 11 o'clock at night. Expect an answer.
That's right.
No, it's that's one good thing about partnering up with strong manufacturers, and the fact of that's what gets brought to the table is the experience within that company, and then those resources to where you can reach out in the appropriate times. Don't be a penis and text your rep on the weekend or after hours just because you're horrible at your time management, unfortunately. But reaching out with those resources and hey, this is what it's reading, it almost almost comes down to like I could see a path where any almost elite network and any manufacturers it should be like almost mandatory that you have a Glass Check Pro or a Glass Check Elite.
Yeah.
Like it's beyond the fact of you making yourself liable. You're hurting the industry. It takes one bad project in an area, and one like working at the general contractor. Say you're working with a big general contractor and you don't do the right thing and you end up screwing up their project. That is going to bleed out more than you expect of the negative impact on our industry.
Yeah, how many future projects is that GM never going to entertain the idea of putting tint on again because you just caused a nightmare for them?
Yep.
Or building managers, architects, you name it.
Yeah.
All of them have impacted.
Yeah, and on our level too, it's on us to educate those GMs and stuff too. I just came across a project recently that was a little heartbreaking, but I'm not going to say who it was, but where it's a commercial project. And they had me out, and as I pull up, I see a bunch of walls in front of windows that I'm like, cool, this is going to be exterior to hide these walls. And I'm like, so I'm guessing we're hiding those walls back there? Oh, no, we reordered all new blacked out glass to replace all those windows. I was like, I could have tinted those for you. And he was like, really? I was told if you tinted it, it would break them. I'm like, well, yeah, if you put blackout on the inside of those, and then come to find out there's a single pane tempered, I was like, I've got some exterior things that are going to be totally safe and would have definitely been a lot cheaper than reordering 50, yeah, like, he's like, all right, well, now I know for the future, but it's already ordered. So I was like, oh, so what they're having us come out to do is a smaller part of the project, but it's like, yeah,
Hit the wrong button, my bad.
I was like, oh no, like, well, now you know for the future, I can definitely help hide some walls with you with some exterior film.
Yeah.
You don't have to replace the windows. So yeah, like everybody I think can do a better job on educating.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's kind of the point of why we're doing this and trying to put
There's
more
just
content out
not
there.
a tremendous amount of marketing, and really all the regions I'm in, and on the flat glass side, it's all wrapped around auto. There's a ton of content on auto.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I hear it all the time, especially since we've ramped up our organic content and now we're running good paid ads against it. Our amount of consultations we're doing in a week has tripled, if not more than that. Like it's kind of crazy. And a vast majority of those customers are telling me that they didn't even know they could tint their house. They only thought of tint for cars, and they started seeing our videos on Instagram or Facebook.
Yep.
And that's even why they contacted us. So it's like, I know that the real opportunity in this industry right now isn't fighting each other over ad spend on Google or Meta. It's make really good video content that educates the end consumer on what problems you can solve with window tint that are outside of automotive. Because most people's impression of window tint is coming, it's cars. You hear it in rap songs. You hear it all, it's all about tint is like for cars is what most people think.
Absolutely.
And there's so many homes and businesses out there that could use window tint to solve a problem that they have, whether it's they're looking for privacy, heat rejection, added security, not getting their turf to melt.
Decorative.
Yeah, decorative.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many things that we offer that most people don't know exist that the market can we don't need to fight over this pie. Let's make the pie this big. And now there's nothing to fight over because there's more work than anybody can do.
Oh, that was by far, and we've probably said it a million times so far on this podcast, this main reason for this podcast was grow flat glass. Educate flat glass, create organic content, just talking about flat glass.
Yeah.
Like most people know you tint your car. You want your car to look a little, look cooler. You want, for Vegas, you just don't want to get a sunburn in your car when you're driving around in the summer.
Sure.
But it's the fact that you can solve your problems. So there are solutions for your home, for your commercial building, that you don't have to put screens on, which some people like the way screens look, is what it is. Some people will avoid screens like the plague because they're like, I hate the way those things look.
Yeah.
And then you're able to provide them with a solution that actually solves their problem. And then, like you said, like that's probably the craziest thing I think we've seen with the leads going up is going into the homes, and then they're like, yeah, no, I had no idea you could do this. I saw your content. I called you. So it's before we even get on the job, they've already kind of got to know us. And then also they've probably heard numerous clips of us talking about the things you can't do. And then when he gets there, he puts the first thing he does, glass check to the window, and then we tell him what we're working with. Because if without knowing what you're working with, how are you going to know you're going to solve their problem to your best ability? Yeah, you probably will improve it, but is it the best option? You have just guesswork.
Well, what I hear with you saying that is you've already established a certain level of trust with the client before you even walked in the door.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Just by having the educational videos and content out there.
Yep.
That's phenomenal.
And that,
The thing that sucks is I think most people try social media, meaning they put like 1 or 2 videos out and it doesn't do anything, and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't work." It's like, no, it's like everything else.
Yeah.
Got to keep doing it, and
Consistency.
don't shake your head at getting a couple hundred views on a video. Like a couple hundred people just listened to what you had to say, and maybe you reached 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
Like now, keep doing that consistently. And if maybe instead of posting 1 video a week, you post 1 a day, and then that's still not gonna be like this huge change in your business, but you're gonna notice it eventually. And now see how you can allocate time and resources to post several things a day. And something's gonna hit. You're gonna get better at making something that's watchable. You're gonna make something that's a little entertaining or funny, whatever. That's gonna get a ton of views.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna be driving more traffic to all the other stuff that you made, and somebody's gonna find value with it eventually. That's the problem is I can turn on a good Google AdWords campaign and see results almost immediately as far as sales and numbers go. But with branding and marketing and the way I'm talking about, it's not going to be immediate.
Yeah.
But you're building that brand. You're building that trust with the end user once they get kind of stuck in that funnel that they've seen your videos, and if it's being done properly and you have an ad agency that knows what they're doing, that person isn't just going to see one thing. Once they see something, they're about to get ad after ad after ad after ad after ad. And 6 months of seeing you over and over and over again in their feed, they buy a new house, buy a new car, whatever it is, or the sun finally comes up and starts hitting the office window that they're working in that wasn't getting sun during the winter time and it's 110 degrees out. They're like, maybe I should have these guys come out. And then instead of just doing their office, they do the whole west side of their house. And then you notice that they just had turf installed, and now they're protecting that. And it's like, you're not going to get that the first video you post.
Well, I feel like social media too is used as a research mechanism now for clients as well.
Oh, yeah.
So the more content you put out there showing side-by-side comparisons or before and after pictures of projects, maybe that post didn't get a lot of reaction when you first made it, but 3 years from now, there might be someone digging through your old posts, content on there, and they'll see that.
Yep.
That's exactly what they wanted to understand or realize, and it sparks a phone call.
Yeah, I think people go in and they prune and trim out stuff that they don't think performed well. Like, oh, it only got 50 views, I'm going to delete it. Like, no, leave it there. Like, okay, cool. So maybe it was bad. Only 50 people saw it. Like, who cares? But maybe down the road, because you posted more and it really wasn't as bad as you thought it was, it might gain some legs and it's there. Like, who cares?
And it also establishes when you started talking about something too, when it comes down to it. If you have that catalog of videos, yes, some hit, some didn't. You know, the ones that hit, awesome. The ones that don't, it doesn't matter. You're consistently putting stuff out to where when people go back and they look at your feed, they're like, wow, like beyond the fact that I love these videos, but if I keep going back, like they've been doing this for a long time. And then
they used to suck at it and they've gotten better at it. So these people are constantly trying to improve and get better. And like you're putting that on display. A lot of the people I follow for running or nutrition, health, wellness type stuff, the thing I love about today for that kind of stuff is there's a guy, Thomas DeLauer. When I first started following him like 7 years ago, I was at like 240 pounds. Some of his content I started following. I think he had like 60,000 YouTube subscribers, but he already had 4, 5, 6 years, I think, of content where you could go through and see his journey and his knowledge, and like you could build some trust with, okay, this guy, I can see that he's growing and learning, and he's just sharing that. And now I think he's got millions of followers, and you can still see that growth where what he's talking about now is different than what he was talking about then. That's hard to develop that kind of trust with someone without paying for like one-on-one nutrition advice for however long. The fact that you can put that on display, put your growth out on you might not be at what your goals and ambitions are right now today. Put that whole process on display and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, I know that's one thing that slowed us down, I think.
It displays your track record when it comes down to it.
That's a great point, because if I'm in a $3 million home and I see a video or content showing you doing another $3 million home or equivalent, I know I have a little more trust in this guy because he's done that caliber of home before, that caliber of project.
Yep.
So it does you're right, absolutely establishes a lot of that.
Oh no, and one eye-opening thing for me, we got our hands on some Cybertrucks, and I was gonna get my hand on 4 of them at once. I only got my hand on 2 of them. And one of the things that was pointed out to me was the reason why we chose the other company was because the content we had on our page. We were a couple months into doing this. We had a lot of technical podcast content. Nothing of really of our installs. So none of my guys installing, none of our finished product before and after. And like as soon as that kind of happened, I was like, okay, we need to address this. Mm-hmm. And now, like, thankfully, we were able to take our in-house graphics guy / paint protection installer. He had done 2 years at college of working in Photoshop and Premiere, doing editing.
Okay.
And like it was presented to him, and he ran after it. And now he himself is putting out at least 2 to 3 pieces of content. Along with, we put out at least 1 piece of content of the podcast, depending on whoever we're sitting down with, key points that we're talking about. But now we have like a before and after series where it just like we just pick. I mean, it's not just like we just pick all the nice cars either. We have some nice cars, and then we see a car that catches our eye. Of course, you want to display that. It's always fun to work on those vehicles. But then just regular vehicles, just like before, do a circle around of the video, cut some things together, and then do the after. To show like, no, they're like, here's our work that we're working on constantly. And having like that is, if anything, showed us the growth in our social media too. Because I was like, after they said it, I let my ego get in the way to begin with. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay. And like, I can't see, like, look at our reviews. Like, you can see that our customers are talking about it. But obviously that was great feedback from them saying like, hey, we went with them because of what they're putting out content wise. Like I see their before and after. I see their guys working on the vehicle. Like that's what drew me towards them. And it was like, all right, well, obviously we need to pivot and we need to start adding that to our social media. And then you could probably see a definitive time when he took over and started putting that content out, because we went from just straight podcasts, and like every once in a while I'd make a video, he'd make a video, but then you can only do so much in a day. Because there's only so much time in the day. And I used to bust his balls about it too. Like, dude, it's just easy, click. But then you find yourself trying to perfect a video instead of just making something and just putting out.
Oh, it's sometimes it's the worst. But then some of my best performing videos I made were like on the spot, in the moment, on a job, where like just randomly after recording us doing an exterior install. Actually, it was an anti-graffiti install over some reflective that we'd put on a Walmart. We were waiting for the contractor to come over and like sign off and be able to leave the job. I happened to like open Instagram, and the very first thing that popped up was like a plumber doing an install, cut up really nice. It looked like it was just starting to go viral, and it was like Simon Sinek talking about the difference between 2 lumberjacks. That one goes home and leaves for 2 hours every day and comes back and still ends up chopping more wood than the other guy. And it just like tells a story that the guy's like, well, what do you go do every day? He's like, I go and sharpen my axe. Like. And it was just like something simple like that, but it was going viral. I took that video, I screenshot it, like I recorded it. I brought it into CapCut on my phone while we were sitting there waiting for the contractor. I found every spot where there was a cut in the video, and I cut it in CapCut, and then I wrote down on a piece of paper what all the times were of each clip. And then I took all the footage that I had just done with my guys, and I found sections of the entire install.
Sure this is easy?
It took me less than 10 minutes. It took me less than 10 minutes, and I posted it with that sound as the sound that the guy had used and by the time I even did that, I think his video had gained a couple 100,000 more. So sometimes you can ride the tail of some of these audios or other videos that are gaining traction. Absolutely. For some reason, what the algorithm's telling you on doing stuff like that is that something about this is super watchable, and people like will actually stick around and watch it. So I just basically mimicked what somebody else had done. We're not plumbers, we're window tinners, so I didn't like steal somebody's video. I just kind of was like, the cadence of where these cuts are and this sound seemed to work together. And almost immediately it just started going crazy. Like I was getting alert. It was like, that's weird. And I look, and like that video did really well, and that didn't take me long. And then sometimes you sit there and spend 2 hours editing a video thinking you created this masterpiece, and
50 people.
Nothing. Yeah, so it's like
if that.
Yeah. So but that's where I think you just need to be persistent at it and consistent, and just keep at it and keep at it. Maybe you're not the one that likes to do it. Maybe like if you're a shop owner out there and you've got teenage kids that they're all about trying to make TikToks or Instagram or whatever, try to get them involved. I've had a couple videos that my kids have made that have done really well, that I have them come in during the summer and like, hey, I want you to record some stuff happening around here today and surprise me with a video. And all of a sudden it does well. So like,
And they probably had a blast too with it, right?
yeah. Well, they can.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't know what hard work is. Unfortunately, they complained about it the whole time. I'm like, you're just recording. Like every time I look over, like, why aren't you recording more? Like I'm tired. Like I'm just asking you to record some stuff, man. Like
Even though I'm on this all day, it just hurts doing it when I'm actually working.
well, I like editing
so
stuff that
no.
I'm interested in. Like, okay, I get that, but come on, I'm trying to pay you like right now to do something that you enjoy doing. It might not be manga or whatever it is you're trying to make videos of, but come on.
Well, it's like if you have Tinner battles, the consistency of how Carlos has done Tinner battles and the content he's put out.
Yeah.
I feel like this year it absolutely paid off. Well, I'm in the video. You're in the background in the video, which I sent to you because as I watch
There's
it,
a bunch of them that have popped
I
in
saw
millions
it
and
because
millions.
over what was it? We had over
it's at like
100,000 views or something like that of that video. When we
No, dude, it's at like
13 or
14
14
million.
million.
It's at 14 million.
I know
Yeah.
of me losing.
Wow.
well, you can hear what's
And that is a different perspective because this dude was on cloud 9.
Well, it was.
Yeah, I got 13, 14 million, but when you sent it to me, we were at like 100,000 or something like that.
It was
right?
something
And
crazy. I
I'm
was like,
hey, check it
and I
out.
was like, hey, this many people that see me beat you, haha. Because you can
Yeah.
hear someone in the background say, "Go Brodie," and it's like,
And
oh
I-
yeah, he wasn't that, he wasn't he. So I sent it to him and just like a joke, and as it kept climbing, I was like, holy hell!
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
funny.
to me, it opened my eyes to what is possible with the content itself. Like something about just me drop rolling that film, and it actually the angle of me instantly I snapped the film, so the noise of the film being snapped, and then how it cascades down the window too. It just slowly lays itself all nicely on there. So. I'm assuming that's all part of what made people kind of stick around for it.
Yeah,
and
like,
then
like an alien did it. Yeah.
but the funny part was like looking through all the comments and stuff. Like at first, like that's when we just started like our mentorship, and like I was gonna text my guy, and I was like, it's Saturday, I'm not gonna bug him. And then he had texted me about doing something for his car, and I was like, all right, well, you opened the door, so I'm gonna ask. Like, hey man, usually I wouldn't bug you for something like this on Saturday. I was like, we have a video that's like around like 2.7 million right now. What should I be doing? He was like, just stay engaged. Just get in the comments, drive everything back to your pages. And like instantly when Carlos, like when it popped, Carlos like sent the screenshot to me. And I was like, can you add our podcast link in there? Can you add our page name in there? And which he did instantly, which was awesome, which I'm fairly certain that's why we started trending in South Africa was because of that video. Like our podcast trended number 26 that month that happened. We were number 26 in entrepreneurship with our podcast on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, like when we got the email with that, I was like, I never even thought of that. Like I'm like trying to reach people here in Vegas and maybe people in the industry here in the States, but like, oh yeah, anybody in the world could be tuning into this. It's actually something Roberta from Modesto and California Tint Academy was telling us the success she's been having with the Tint Academy she's doing. Is she's got people coming from around the world to come do her auto Tint Academy in California, which is like, okay, I was thinking maybe we'd get local Vegas people, maybe some people from the States, but like, yeah, there's a whole world of people out there that are interested in this industry.
Learn
And know that America's pretty much kind of the mecca for window tint. We're the biggest market by far, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Say that's probably China. Us in
China's
China.
coming.
China's
China's
coming
starting
out
to
big, huh?
put a lot of film up, I would assume.
I think you bring up a great point with Carlos's videos, though. The content is engaging right off the bat. Something about it captures your attention and continues to watch. And he consistently delivers that style of content over and over again. So if
Slowly
someone is
perfecting
learning how
it.
to do it. That's a great example to look at. You know what I mean? Of what did he do in that video that captured that person's attention for more than 2 seconds before they swipe to the next video?
Oh, this last meeting is the only Tinner battles I've been to, but like how the style of what they did this last time around, like live stream, capture as much as humanly possible. And he's still just trickling it out there. And like right after my video popped, you had a video of Marcus doing the squeegee battle. It was only like 14 seconds long. That thing like it started gaining traction, then all of a sudden took off. I think it's like 60 million or something like that views. Like he has more views through his like meta pages than some networks get. Period. It's like and he keeps putting out videos that are all going above 300, 500,000, crossing the million range. He has over probably 100 million plus views just through Facebook page of what content he's put out. It's not including his YouTube or any other channel that I know he's putting it out on all those channels. Like instantly after that pop and after seeing that reaction from just like from social media, I was like, dude, I'm all in. You let me know if you need help with anything. I'm 100% on. Like I understand what you're doing now. And even when we had him on the podcast, he was just talking about how he made his ceramic videos for cars and how he's getting people from different counties driving all the way to him. Like, well, yeah, I saw your video. And like, I wanted to go to you because I saw that video. Or changing the name of bronze, rose gold. He goes, who wants bronze? Who wants third? Who wants gold? Rose gold. I'm like, it's goddamn genius. And then that's people reaching out to him for bronze film, which was a hot film, I'd say mid 2000s, kind of died off. And it's has resurgence here and there. I'm like, I thought bronze was always a good looking film, always good performing film too. You know, but you know, everything
breaks windows.
Just breaks windows every once in a while.
That's the only downfall. Again, having that glass check,
Yeah.
making sure that you're able to put it on there.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, like the consistency that he's went after it, and like the fact that like this is his fourth Tinter battles he put on, and like and he's considering the fact like I might do this twice a year. Like he's like, I haven't paid for a single ad yet.
Like Carlos twice a year, Tinter battles.
I would be.
I would be down to go.
I'd be down.
It was a really good event.
Fun event.
It was well run. The podcast studio being there was insanely cool.
Yeah.
Having the ability to spend some time sitting with all of that knowledge from the industry being there, being able to sit down and talk with a handful of people that you might only see once or twice a year was beautiful.
And it's a full picture kind of thing too, because not only does it have the competition aspect, the attendees, but the environment you're in there too, the organization of it, the branding everywhere of the event is just done so well that we just haven't seen that in our industry very often.
No.
And I think the team over there has done a phenomenal job of consistently focusing on that too, where every detail is thought of. And I also think even with content creation for tent shops, you know what I mean? If you are filming yourself doing a car, what does the background look like? Like what are you telling the story to your clients in that fashion too, you know?
Oh yeah, totally.
I preach it every day.
Well,
Yeah, that's a big one too. Because it's funny is as a kid, our dad was insanely particular about keeping the shop clean all the time. And we'd be in the middle of an install, and he'd come in the back, and you're 6-7 cars into a crazy day in the middle of the summer, and you're just cranking them out, and he shows up, and the first thing he says is, "There's trash on the ground. What are you doing? What have you been doing?" And it's like, "I've been tinting cars." Like, and it's funny because I was the one who would always fight back with him and be like, "I'm tinting these cars. Like that can wait. I'll get it later." But now, especially now with video content, I'm the one who's like, "Hey guys." Like, I love that last piece of content, but can we, like, pick up the paper towels off the ground before we record it next time? Like, because, like it might not matter to you, and of course, we're busy and in the moment, and it's just a paper towel. But, like, why not just spend the extra minute and move it out of the shot? Like throw it away.
No, I'm on board with it, man. I agree, because, I mean, if you ask any of my guys, too, if I walk into the back of the shop and it's a mess, my anxiety just goes out of the roof. And, but there's been those particular times where I've had a special guest come just randomly stop in, and they want to see a tour of the shop. And I don't want to take them back there because there's clear liners on the ground, and there's trash here, and there's food here, and, there's a raccoon in the back corner staring at us. Like, not really, but I want it to be presentable at all times.
Agree 100%. The gripe I have right now with him and my sister is that, yes, I've definitely, if anything, I was too lenient over the past couple of years because after my dad completely stepping away from the business and us taking full lead of everything, I was too lenient in the fact that, like, I'm trying to empower my guys to do the right thing. And I don't want to be the guy that's up your ass constantly. And I probably stepped back a little too much, didn't draw the line where, like, all right, like, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. Where I feel like him and my sister are a little too harsh, it's like they'll show the video and my sister's like, oh, the floor. And, like, I'm looking at the video and I see the end of a 1-inch blade, the cardboard. That's the only thing in the shot is that on the ground while it pans across. I'm like, what are you talking about? You talking about that? And she's like, yeah. I'm like,
Attention to detail.
They're
bro.
working. Yes, I want a clean shop, but at the same time, can we look like a shop that's actually working and not just trying to like make everything perfect for the video? Like, I get it.
I get
but at
that
the same
aspect
time, to
of
break
it, but
someone's
at the
balls
same time,
over
you're
that,
saying if it's
come
just
on.
one little thing, like that's like, all right, it's gone. Now let's record this and put it out there for eternity.
I just think being a little too nitpicky in my eyes.
I'll have
That's
my
it.
guys take photos of cars when they're done in front of the wall, and it's got our logo and stuff on it with like scraps of the tint hanging on the wall. And I'm like,
okay, that
come on,
yeah.
guys.
That needs to be
Yeah.
cleaned up.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm on board with
Like,
that. Yes.
Well, and sometimes people forget they're taking pictures of a reflective surface, which is the paint of the car. Or
Yeah.
themselves. Like,
Yeah.
and you'll see some some nuggets there sometimes, and it's not always good too. So, angles.
Yeah.
angles.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think it matters more not necessarily the more you grow, but if you're going for the higher end of the market, which for me, I feel like that's what you should be going for. I mean, I know if you're just getting into the market and you're a new shop, you probably don't have a chance at going for the customer that's got a Rolls Royce or a $5 million home or whatever. Like, I've been in enough homes in all different types of places, whether it's in a lower end income area of town, middle class area, or these multi-million-dollar mansions. The nicer the home, the more particular the customer. There's like a strong correlation with that. Like, people that are wealthy and doing well and have money to spend are typically the most particular on keeping everything nice and clean all the time and organized. And I think there's something about that. Like, there's something about being organized and keeping things clean, having a clean environment. I mean, even Jordan Peterson talks about, like, clean your room. Like, if you want to get your life in order, start in the most centered spot. Like, clean your room, make your bed.
Make your bed before you start criticizing other people.
So if you can display that image out that this is how we run, is we clean our room, we clean our bed. Like, we're going to keep our stuff clean, and that means we're going to respect your stuff equally. Like, I think that's important to display that to your customers if that's how you're going to operate. Like,
Agreed, but if it's going to be the unfortunate, and if it's going to be the one customer go, well, I was going to use you, but when you pan that camera across in that 2 seconds, I saw that piece of cardboard, so I went with someone else. Okay, like, I'm completely fine. I'm completely fine with that. I am, because you can look at the track record's there, and the fact of what we have for our reviews, and with everything else that we have, that's how we operate our company. Like, I get what you're saying.
what's funny is 5 years ago we'd have both been on the opposite side of this.
But do you really want that? Do you
It's
really
a
want
great
that
dynamic
person
then.
as your customer, anyways? Though,
That's what I'm saying.
like,
I get that part.
I get it at that. That's petty when it gets to that point. But like, for content viewing, being viewable, like, that's the kind of stuff, those details and stuff that the end users and those viewers are going to see, and that's going to be either their thought of swiping up or continually watching, right?
See, my thought is if we're focusing on a small piece of cardboard from a blade, we're pretty damn sure everything else looks in order and everything's good.
Right.
'Cause we're overanalyzing it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think it's a healthy thing. I think it's good
Yes.
that, there's that tension of, okay, we missed one little detail here. That means we caught everything else in the process. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and whenever I bring stuff like that up, I'm always like, I'm glad we're putting out content, and like what we're putting out, the quality of it compared to what we used to put out is night and day better. It's just like, unfortunately, I do have that in me of like that growth mindset of like, find the little thing that we can improve to make it better next time. Like, because that's how I treat when I'm installing. That's how I treat my installs. He rags on me because I'm a little bit slower. Like, I might get 5 panes up in an hour to his 7, but I know that my 5 panes are perfect.
Think of the nonverbal impact to your team when they know that so many details matter in the business, and that's going to affect how they do their job.
Oh, totally.
They're not going to let things slip through that they would typically allow in other scenarios, because they know that the leadership of the company cares that much about it. They're not okay with details being overlooked or walked around. So I think it's a very healthy element to an organization to have that. You know what I mean?
Believe me, I agree 100% with that. Like I said, like I started off, I was saying, like, I was too lax, like getting into a position where it's not saying obviously I want to have a great relationship with everyone who works with our company, but at the same time also allow them some freedom and realize like, hey, I'm not going to be on top of you, but if things keep happening a certain way, then I'm going to start pointing it out. And like, that's literally how this year's reviews started, was me saying like, hey, I messed up by not defining exactly what I wanted to be done. So I'm going to start pointing these things out, and do realize I'm not attacking you. I am just going to point these things out until we've cleaned them up and it's not happening no more.
Or you're pushing that individual to take their skill set to the next level.
That's
their mindset.
Exactly. You know? That's definitely I would say the best approach about it is that like you want to get to the next level. Like being that detail oriented does help you get to the next level.
Absolutely.
I don't disagree with that. Now with your 5 to 7 panes, like what math are you doing over here?
What?
You heard me. 5 to 7 panes. You think I'm doing 2 more panes than you? You know how to count?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. All right.
If we're actually side by side going and I'm trying to keep up with you, yeah, that's about right.
Oh, when you're trying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time I'm just focusing on what I'm doing in front of me and not thinking about you. Mm-hmm. I know you think that that's all I'm doing.
No, I know that's not it, because I'm already in the other room, completing the other room.
So
So
have to do
5
is
of 7
start
a day or 5 of 7 a
No,
night?
I'm saying an hour.
Oh.
Depending on the window.
We
You gotta
don't.
start calling random numbers out as you're working. You know, number 12, 15.
Oh, he would do that.
would. Yeah. No, I wouldn't.
Now we've had some good sized projects where it's
15.
we've had some good sized projects where it's just the two of us, and I know the fastest way to get it done is like let's just work together because
Yeah.
now I have to keep up with you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, keep them in the same room. You can see the pace that I'm working on.
It
But
just-
at the
it
end of
holds
the
each
day,
other
in my
accountable.
mind,
it does.
It does.
quality is everything when it comes to referrals and long term growth of your business and your brand and your ability to go do multi-million-dollar homes. Like getting a referral from one of those customers to their neighbors is even more valuable than their neighbor also has a multi-million-dollar home. Right?
I would say, I would agree 100%. That's why I've been crowned 3 times. So
You always got to bring it back to that.
well, you're trying to debate quality.
I'm not debating quality.
Well, kind of are. You're saying, well, I'm a little faster, but quality, I take that little extra time.
I'm not inferring your quality is not as good. I'm just saying I am making sure no matter what, my quality is number one.
And I'm saying I'm doing the same thing, but faster.
I know that. I agree with that. I've said several times you're the fastest, cleanest tinter I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing a lot of tint shops kind of forget about is they're comparing themselves to the other tint shops in town. Mm-hmm. When in reality, the likelihood of another tint shop entering someone's home ever again is pretty much minimal.
Yeah.
That homeowner's comparing them to the cable guy, to the lawn guy,
Yeah.
to the electrician, to the plumber. And I think that is something that's important to keep in mind too, is that's who they're really, when they're trying to sway someone's perception
Oh, yeah.
of how their business is run, that's what the homeowner's comparing to.
Yeah. It's funny. We did a one-on-one podcast earlier, and one of the things we were talking about was exactly that. Like, I think at the end of the day, there's so many different levels you can be at in this industry.
Yep.
Like, don't get in the habit of comparing yourself to other people in the industry. Like, your growth process should be comparing yourself to you like yesterday. Like, if you're constantly just trying to be better than you were yesterday, you're gonna improve. You're gonna get better, and you're gonna get to that next level. Don't even worry about what anyone else around you is doing. And yeah, the impression that customers get from, I've had a couple incidents with contractors in my home over the last 2 years that were so horrible, where I got no call, no showed several times, and somehow I let it go a couple times, and then end up having to fire the contractor and then go to another one. And it's like, man, if this is what people are experiencing, the service that we're providing to them is like a breath of fresh air, because it's like there's no way they're getting a no call, no show. There's no way that that's happening at all. When we say it's going to get done, it's when it's going to get done 99.99% of the time, because there are one-offs where you have some kind of curveball where somebody's sick or there's whatever. Like,
But you get the call notification. You
Yeah,
still get
yeah,
that.
it's not just
you
that
didn't show
no
up to
one
my
showed
job.
up.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You get the call notification. Like the big thing when I did sales for a small section last year was I would hear constantly, "You showed up." I'm like, "Oh, that's the standard." Okay,
Yep.
like this will be easy. And then let alone like walking into the house.
Yeah. Glad I set those standards already.
it's so true.
Walking into the house, like the first thing I'm doing, like doesn't matter. I'm not judging anyone's house of any sort of thing. Like I know when I'm like people coming to my house, I have contracts in my house, like booties, shoes off, please. Like that's just like That's just the way me and my wife like our house. Like my house is clean constantly, but like I don't even leave that option to my customer. As I'm walking into their house, my shoes are already coming off. And like if they don't care, they'll stop me. I have dogs. I don't care. I'm like, in that case, put my shoes back on. I'm good to go. But otherwise, it's just like one of those things. Because about 3 out of 10, I would say, would be a fair number. Where it's like, yeah, I had someone else come give me an estimate, and like they just walk right into my house. And like, and the crazy part is like, you look at the person's home, and you're like, why would you think that was acceptable? Especially if you see all the shoes sitting out front of the front door.
Or that Persian rug right in front.
Well,
like you took your shoes off on.
Yeah, like there's
like come on.
You walk past the telltale signs of like you should probably do this or at least have booties. Like even like one of the high rises that we do work on, they're like, "Do you have booties?" Like, "Dude, my shoes come off." And they're like, "Oh, that's good." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm so used to working without my shoes on because my dad buried that into our heads was shoes come off instantly. Like I've tried working with booties on, I can't. It just doesn't, like I start tinting and I just feel like for some reason, only in residential, obviously commercial jobs, shoes are on, doesn't matter. For the most part, depending on where the construction is or if it's just an old building, they just don't care. People are already there walking around. But like walking into a house, I've tried working on a house where they're like, no, you can keep your shoes off. I'll start like 2 windows in and I'm like, I gotta take my shoes off. And I take them off.
Except for the ladder work.
Yep.
Like, so.
Ladders are brutal.
Yes. Oh, man, get started using crow's feet.
Yeah, no.
But Amazon had these rubber shoe covers that are washable. And it was the best thing that we ever got because we were able to utilize that with the ladders and be able to use our shoes and they gripped versus sliding.
It's like the death slide.
Yeah. Because if you forget to take the booty off or if you got to climb up the ladder quickly and you've got the booties on, that.
Oh, my guys
definitely slipped a little bit.
So we'll typically, if we're doing
time.
ladders, we're always putting the drop cloth down. So if we do have ladders, we'll just grab the shoes and bring them over to the drop cloth and then just only wear them on the drop cloth up the ladder and then take them off.
Yeah, and our guys, as much as I might ridicule them for it, they wear Crocs.
Yeah.
Slip on and off. Yeah, it's like...
Until they drop a Triumph on it.
Oh, well, that's where I've told all of them, if something happens, like depending on obviously what kind of job we're going on, shoes got to go on, but like I get it for the residential customers, like it's easy to slip on and off. I mean, for the most part, like I just bought these, but I haven't I have laces that are literally stretch laces to where it's the same thing, slip on and off. Because going in and out, it's absolute pain in the ass to get down, tie my shoe, untie my shoe. Like I get it. But like I constantly mess with the guys. I'm like, you guys are wearing Crocs right now. And then the worst part is they have the Crocs and they put the little plug charms in them. I'm like,
oh, they got little turbos and a spoiler.
We should actually get
Raiders logo.
We need to get the shop logo.
Thing here.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We need to get the shop logo as a charm. We give all the Croc wearers in the shop.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
we do. Actually, it was actually a funny piece of content I made of when the last person in the crew finally got some, and all of a sudden I noticed in the bay, like, oh, everybody's got Crocs on. So I like recorded it and zoomed out, and I did it like with the sound of like Forrest Gump, like those look like comfortable shoes. Yeah, but like it does help when you're going on residential jobs just be able to slip it off. So
change your shoelaces.
Yeah, well,
Make life easy. I'm sorry.
You think of those little springy ones?
Yeah,
where
that's
you
what
just pull them and
I have.
tie them.
Yep. Yep. I have ones that are the stretch shoelaces that I usually they'll go into these. Just in my old pair. I just haven't done it yet.
With Velcro.
What's that?
You can start retiring with Velcro.
So Vans let you make custom Vans, and I made some in the past before now you can go like really custom and do full printed custom, which I might be ordering soon with like our logo and stuff on them just to see what they look like. They have the slip on. They have the slip on Vans, the no lace ones.
Yeah.
And I got some of those in the past that were all in our colors and even had like GD Tint etched on the side. I wore those for a couple of years when I first moved back out here. I'm going to order some new ones soon. Me and him just talked about this recently, but I'm about to get some new ones.
That's the move. I should get some pair of those, and I'll put 3 gold
Oh, there you go.
first place medals on there.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish I would have followed through what I was going to do at WFCT this past year, and I didn't because I guess my ego's not that big, thankfully.
Yes, it is.
Oh, dude, they're across the street from our hotel. So before going to the banquet, across the street from the hotel in Virginia Beach, those T-shirt shops are everywhere.
Yeah.
I almost went across the street and put 3-time world champ on it. And I was going to wear it underneath my work shirt and then just throw the dice and hopefully I win. And if I would have
Yeah.
won, take off my work shirt, and I already have the shirt on that says 3-time world champ on it. He tried.
That would have been awesome.
He was trying to push me to do it. I'm like, no. And like, hey, I don't want to jinx myself. And like later on, he's like, dude, I walked around to all those windows, and the one guy that had a window that was really clean, he scrapped a piece. So pretty much took him out of the running of even getting anywhere near. So he's like, you would have been fine. I'm like, well, he could have egged me on a little harder. I might have actually done it now, but
No, this last year, after walking around and looking at the windows after they were done, it was the most confident I've ever been that like there's no way you weren't going to win. Because it was
couldn't have
silver,
told me that to begin
you
with.
could see enough debris in
Son of a bitch.
everybody else's windows that it was like yours was the only one that I think didn't have quite a few dust specks in it.
Oh, it
And there
did.
were some of them that were like, it's kind of wild to me. Some people finished with like 10 minutes to go. And it's like, it looked like they finished with 10 minutes to go. It's like, this is a quality contest. It's not a who can do it faster. What were you thinking?
Yeah,
The
time only.
nerves, though, man. When you get up there, it's
Yeah, I get that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like,
That's
know
what
that.
happened with us at Tenor Battles. Like
Yeah.
my nerves, I like, man, I haven't done this in 5 years. What the hell am I doing right now?
I was shocked how nervous I got at Tinner
So I'm
Battles.
like, I don't even think I picked up film in the last 3 years.
what is this?
Yeah, Tinner Battles, it was funny. I think somebody's got video and you could see me like shaking. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell, man?
I have that video.
I love it. It's-
Really
it's-
bad. Like, I'm
it's
like, man,
funny.
I thought
It's
I was
fun,
just here to
but-
like to have fun and like I wasn't that stressed out about it. But as soon as it went go time, I was like,
That's good
Stop.
though.
But why?
That's healthy.
Why does that happen? Like we've all done this many times. What?
Because of all the people watching.
But
Yeah.
we've done it, and it's.
I know, but we
I
it
still
just
get the
keeps
same
mentally, it's
feeling.
not the same
And
environment.
I shake, but the minute my blade hits, it's just steady.
The only time I've competed and not had that feeling was 22 when I
Yeah.
won, and somehow I was able to just like it's almost like have you seen
You're
the
in your
movie
own
for
zone.
is it For the Love of the
wasn't
Game
bad.
with Kevin Costner? Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
So he's a pitcher and he pitches a perfect
yeah, I know
game,
what you're talking about.
and
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah,
it,
yeah, I
like
know
the
what you're
crowd's
talking about.
making all
Yep.
kinds of noise and it's a bunch of flashbacks and stuff. But every time he goes to pitch, he's like clear the mechanism and it just goes boom, everything disappears, and all he can see is the glove and he can't hear anything. I kind of felt like I was in a zone like that, where it was just like I just felt like I was tinting a window on a job, and like it was just like, oh cool, I'm done, and it's perfect. Like but that's the only time I felt that way. Every other competition, my knife's shaking. I'm
You
like,
get that random person like Billy yelling, "Go Brodie!"
kind of wish they would allow AirPods and stuff at
Yeah.
competitions
Yeah.
because then it would help kind of cancel out the.
yeah.
Technically, at Tinder Battles, they didn't tell us we couldn't.
Yeah, they've always been good.
Yeah, Tinder Battles didn't care. That's one thing I wanted to try to help push for in WFCT, for them to relax a little bit. Like, honestly, if you're worried about someone picking up their piece of trash because someone's telling them in their ear, I don't think that's someone we have to worry about winning the competition.
Tenor Battles is one of my favorite events.
Oh, it was a blast.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that event. And I
'Cause you just feel calm.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
there's not a lot of stress in it.
No, definitely not. No, it's
That's why it's shocked me that during the competitions and that I did get nervous because I like it was so relaxing and cool the whole time you were there.
Yeah.
But as soon as it was like go time, I think it was because it was the head to head and like who finishes first wins.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
added another little element of
yeah.
like, oh, this is a real race. Like this is like who can get this window done first.
The Carlos mastery to the event.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
intensity up.
Yep.
oh yeah.
it's wild. Is he's
Hearing him in the background.
Oh,
just-
dang, I keep forgetting his name. The WWE Hall of Famer who's helping him with it.
Can't ask me. I don't
He
remember.
actually had someone there who's like a WWE Hall of Famer who's been
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of helping.
it's been a couple times.
Yeah, and he was like up in the production booth, like talking and like so. It was like as stuff was happening, they were adjusting and like reacting to the crowd because that's what the WWE's doing. It's like WWE's semi-scripted, and then they allow there to be some wiggle room based off of what the reaction of the audience is, which is like your immediate feedback on what's engaging. So it's kind of like the algorithms of social media. But if you can do that real time while producing something like that, it makes it even more
That was probably
entertaining.
the funnest thing about that event was them being able to pivot and change things in the sense that like it made sense. Like, yeah, you should make that change. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Like them pivoting to doing 8 teams instead of 6, and then them doing the finals. They took the best one out of each first and second heat for the final main event. Like we all kind of thought that was happening to begin with, and then how it all transpired was just like us getting all the extra time in Heat 2 to really go through our windows and be thorough as hell with everything with the prep time. So it was just like, we're just going to take best from 1 and 2 and they'll go against each other. And it was like, everything. They had to come by and ask, are you guys okay with that? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. That we all A, thought that, and B, like that makes sense. That's the common sense thing to do. Like, instead of just be like, nope, these are the rules we're going to go by. And it's like, there's got to be some wiggle room.
And it made that final duel between two teams
Awesome.
just like electric. Like when the time was counting down and they're finishing and shaking their frames out, it was like, yeah, okay, this kind of had to happen. Like, and it's kind of good that they pivoted to do that, because that was the coolest ending. Like,
Well, and they're trying different things, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to pivot and adjust.
Exactly.
And I think that's what makes it cool.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I think that's that coming at it from a content creator. Let's make it entertaining. I think that's what he's
absolutely.
doing, that everybody needs to pick up on and follow his lead, because it works.
Oh, most definitely. Well, actually, I must say that's probably a good spot to kind of wrap this up. We've been going for like about an hour and 20, 30 minutes.
Awesome.
Time flies, man. I really
Yeah, it was
appreciate
a
you
good
guys coming
conversation.
out. Oh, huh?
It was a good, fun conversation.
It was.
Oh,
It was good.
it's usually the ones where all of a sudden you notice, like, wow,
Really
time.
good content comes
Yeah, I
out.
didn't
Well,
realize
the
it'd
content
been
and
that
also
long.
the time just passes by,
Yeah.
and that's been our journey through doing this. Same thing is you got get comfortable, and then also just realize you're just having a conversation. And like for me, it's really easy whenever I have anyone within the industry come on. I mean, yeah, I'll do some background work, but for the most part, like, I know me and you haven't had time to sit down like this and talk about stuff. And
Not a long time.
first time I've actually sat down and had a real conversation with you. So I was like, this will be easy. I'm not worried about this at all. And I really do appreciate you guys
Yeah.
coming out. Everything you guys are doing with your product, with Pristine, and like actually putting yourselves out there and actually starting to develop something that is, if no one else goes along with this, you are going to own and destroy this part of the market. And I'm very excited to be able to put something out there and start teaming up with landscapers to give them a product where they don't have to tell their customer, like, hey, I just did this beautiful backyard, and go ahead and put a solar screen on your window now. So, and a lot of people are like, I don't want to look at that nonsense. I'd rather put a film on. I can provide a product now that's clear. So I really do appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the help over the last couple of months of rolling this out, launching it, and all the feedback that we're constantly getting. Just the information on knowing to look for windows that have some kind of concave aspect to them, or seals are failed, and knowing that I can be more value to my customer and be more informed on what's going on here and not sell them snake oil. And everybody's been super happy with it so far, and I really have enjoyed the partnership and the feedback we've been getting from you guys. I really, really
And then
appreciate it.
You just keep me updated too on what you need from me, from a rep side as well, and also for support on your end.
Yeah, I mean, every
While
time
you
I've had a
guys progress in
question,
this new adventure. So
every time I've had a question, you've answered it almost immediately. So it's been great, man. I really appreciate it, and it was really good to see both of you guys.
I'm going to start sending you emojis at 11 o'clock at night.
I like it.
Just little smiley, winky faces.
I might send it back though.
All right, everybody, you guys know how this works. Please subscribe, follow along. We appreciate all the support. And like usual, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that you want to throw our way, any topics you want us to talk about, just go ahead and put it in a DM us, put it in the comments below, and make sure to share and subscribe.
Yep, everything he just said. Plus, if you want to be a guest, hit us up. We're always looking for interesting people to have conversations with, whether you're in the industry or you're just a local Vegas business person, or maybe even a customer that's had an experience with us tinting your business or building, or working with you as a contractor. Hit us up. We'd love to have you on as a guest, and make sure you subscribe.
Have a good one.